Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. It's Karen here today. Sorry if I sound a little bit funny. I've just had a skin cancer removed from my lip, so it's a little bit sore and a bit hard to talk. So today I'm starting off with my Dina Wakley mini journal again because I love this journal so much. And what I'm doing is pasting in a serviette of Frida Kahlo. I got these napkins or serviettes from my local supermarket and I really love it. I actually saw Neve use it a few weeks ago and I thought it was just amazing. And it's like, where did you get that from? So yeah, I had to go get some. So now I've got another napkin. This is a little cocktail one and I'm just separating the papers. I was having a little bit of trouble there to separate it, so I've used a little bit of washi just either side of a corner, and then it will allow you to peel it out and apart much easier. So again, I'm just gluing that in. I'm using the Golden Soft Gel Matte Medium because that's what I have at the moment, and I'm just using a few little bits of collage paper that I had left over. I think that's a little bit of encyclopedia that was left over from a class, and I've got some of my Dina Wakley collage papers from her book, which is an awesome book. If you haven't got one, you should get one. So I'm just putting in a little bit more bits and pieces here and there. Oh, and I've also got a little bit of Dina's background collage papers there as well. So I'm just checking to make sure that I've got all my edges glued down before I start to give it a quick dry. So once it's dry, I can actually move on to the next part, and what I'm going to do is add in a little bit more colour onto my green leaf side, so it kind of matches in with the Frida serviette. So I've got some greens, and I'm going to use some pinky reddy colour as well. So my watercolours are actually the fancy ones. They just happen to be the ones that I grabbed first. They're the schmincke ones. It's just a little set of 12, and they are really quite nice. A bit too nice probably for art journals, but anyway, that's just how it worked out. So I'm just giving that a quick dry and making sure that all those papers are nice and dry. And I'm just going to trim up my edges a little bit so I can actually see where they are, because I didn't really make sure that my napkins were the right size when I started. I just glued them on. So I'm just going to trim them up so I can see where all the bits are. There we go. That looks better. So now I'm thinking that I'm going to grab a stencil and I'm going to use some white paint just to help break up some of that green part that I've got going on. My stencil is from Prima. It's an oldish one. Well, I don't know if you can still get it, but anyway, there you go. So the first thing that I've got going there is some Amsterdam white paint, and I'm just dabbing that through the stencil with a little sponge. But as you can see, you can't see it. So obviously that paint wasn't, it wasn't thick enough. It must be a translucent one. So then I go and find a Dina Wakley one, but the tube was empty, and now I've got another one which is actually Aloe. So that's a real pale green. It's one of the new colours that she's got out. It's actually really quite nice. So this one does actually work out. You probably can't see it all that well from the video, but it just gives a nice, very subtle pattern over the top of my collage. So I was quite happy with that. So I'm just drying it off again before I grab my next thing, which is a Donna Downy stencil. I can't actually read what this one says. It's about art though. It's a bit too cursive for me, so I can't read it. Sorry. But I've had this stencil for a little while, and I'm just using some the Crafters Workshop gold, what is it, texture paste. And silly me, I've actually gone over the gutter in my book and totally mucked it up. You know, there's no way my book's going to close with all that texture paste in there. So I tried to mop it up, but then I just end up making it worse, and so I decided to wipe it off, half of it off. Anyway, so yeah. So 3 baby wipes later, I actually get it looking fairly reasonable. Here's the last baby wipe. There we go. So that actually looks a little bit better, but it has got a bit of a gold tinge to it. So I'm going to give that a bit of a dry, and then I'm going to come back in with my schmincke watercolours again and just add in a little bit more pink and green into that gutter edge where I wiped off a lot of the colour, just to help blend it in and make it match in just a little bit better than what it was. So I'm really quite liking how it's working out at the moment. I think it's starting to look really cool. So I'm thinking about a Frida quote that I'd like to put into my page. So while I'm thinking about that, I'm just starting to make a few little marks with a Posca pen. Yeah, and I'm just going to add in a little bit onto her face just to give her some more rosy cheeks, because, you know, why not? I can. So I did, and she actually looks quite cute. So the little bottle there that I've got is just a little metal tip bottle, and I've got a mix of golden paint in there and some flow medium. I think that's what it is. So I mix that up so that I can actually write with my paint quite easily. It's really quite nice. The little dots that I just put on are from Amsterdam. It's the deep gold acrylic ink, another one of my favourites. So while I'm doing that, I'm just thinking I've actually spelt Frida's name wrong. I better fix that up. Luckily, I was able to do that quite easily. So I just turned my R into a H. So that worked out okay. Thank goodness. How embarrassing. But luckily I caught it. I'm the world's worst speller. I cannot spell. All right, so I found my quote. So I'm just going to write that in. I've got my phone up there. And what the quote is, it says, "At the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can." And we honestly can. So as I said at the start of the video, I've just had my lip little operation there to remove a little skin cancer. So I'm going to take this opportunity to remind you all to get all your skin checked quite regularly, because you just never know what could be there. Hopefully for me it's all good and I've cut it out and it's all gone, but I guess I'll find out in a few days when I go to get my stitches out. So now I've got my Fude ball pen and I'm just going around some of my letters just to give them a little bit more of a shadow. I just think it looks a little bit, I don't know, softer, I guess you'd say, than the full thing. So just going over my crosses again, just to make sure that they're nice and white. And I think my page is just about done. Yep, I'm done. So there you go. So I really hope you've enjoyed my collage today. I hope you will like my video, and if you like my channel, please like and subscribe to that as well.